I'm going to teach people how to start their own ad agencies.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. This is Todd Westra, and I am so grateful today for the guest that I just had on the show. You're going to love this interview because we are talking about marketing, we're talking about growth, we're talking about using influencers to grow your brand, we're talking about all sorts of cool stuff. But the big problem we really want to solve is how many companies like yours are underutilizing influencers in your target marketplace. My guess is probably all of you. My guess is probably every company out there is underutilizing people who hold influence in their target market. I know I'm one of those. I am not utilizing the people that hold a lot of influence in my target audience. And after today's interview, I kind of regret it. You're going to love this interview because he not only talks about the act of using these other influencers as a leverage tool to grow your business, but also you're going to learn about how he has grown his own business, leveraged influencers within his target audience, as well as some other factors that are kind of fun to think about. So you're going to love hearing his feedback. You're going to love hearing his input. You may even recognize this person because he is somewhat of an influencer himself. And so enjoy this episode. Take a look and listen, and I cannot wait to hear what you think in the comments below. We'll see you on the flip side of this interview. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. Today, you're going to have the pleasure of hearing someone who has not only grown marketing agencies, but taken a unique kind of twist on things. We're gonna find out all about it here. We're talking to a man, John Crestani. Will you please tell us who you are and who you like to serve with your business?
Started programming at 8 years old. Out of college, I started and grew an ad agency to $5 million a year in revenue, sold it. And then after that, I couldn't do an ad agency. So I figured, hey, I'm going to teach people how to start their own ad agencies. And I've sold about $25 million worth of training courses in the last couple years.
Nice.
And now I'm working on software to enable really any direct-to-consumer company tap into influencer marketing at scale.
Love it. I love it. So judging from behind your head there, you've joined the seven, the 2 comma club. You got 8 digits going on in your sales for online products. Yeah. That's awesome. It's awesome, by the way. So tell us, John.
YouTuber with like 600,000 subscribers, number 1 infomercial in 2021. So I'm a marketing guy. But I started on the streets. I started with flyers, tear tab flyers. Anybody can do it. I'm a big believer in marketing changing really any company if you just know how to do it right.
That is very funny because my first business, we did door hangers. So we had door hangers with our pager number on it. It was awesome.
It works.
Totally works. Totally works. Well, dude, so tell us about your business. I mean, you've exited a couple of awesome businesses. You're growing one that you've been working on for 6-7 years now. Mm-hmm. And I see you've got a new project you're working on. Tell us where you're at. Who's the client avatar you love to help the most?
Yeah, really it's ad agencies and PR agencies, as well as like growing Shopify stores that might be doing like a couple million a year.
Interesting.
And it's because like this whole influencer marketing area of actually tapping into these 80 million content creators.
Right.
It's right now the way people are doing it. They're like sitting on beanbags and like, they're doing Google searches and trying to figure out what people are going to give them ROI. Like what gives them those like butterfly feel good things. Let's do more marketing meetings. And it doesn't work. It doesn't get ROI, but there are people crushing it like Lululemon, NordVPN, sure. FTX, Robinhood, all these things. If you know how to work with like real people, better, you'll make exponentially more money in your business. And I've seen this working with a lot of micro influencers to promote my training courses in the marketing space.
Right.
And also the fact is people don't like buying products from ads. People prefer to buy products from people they trust.
100%.
Just full stop.
Yeah, no, that's legitimately a full stop right there. You know, as most companies that are, you know, listening to this podcast, I'm guessing there's a lot of people that are trying to grow and scale. They've launched, they've kind of hit a nice sweet spot of revenue, but they're thinking, what do I got to do next? And what you're talking about is not just like, yes, paid ads work. Yes, Facebook marketing works. Yes to all these things. But what you're saying is nowadays people like buying stuff that are trusted by people that they trust, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
not the subscriber. And what's interesting about that is it's not about how many subscribers or followers somebody has at all. It has nothing to do with that. It doesn't matter what keywords they
right.
rank for, what they show up for. Because you could show up, be the number 1 video for, you know, men's razors, but there is zero trust this audience places in this human being.
Right.
So yeah. And what my new business is doing and what we've been doing is just selling data. Like, I'm not the type of guy who like talks to clients, nor would I. Like, look, I'm in a leather jacket. I'm a behind the scenes type of person.
Right.
You know, I'm you know, there are a lot of agencies out there that are, you know, that work with clients to make things happen. But
sure.
Yeah, we're people need data to get ROI in the influencer space. That's the biggest thing that's been a problem, is there's no ROI for 99% of companies.
So tell me about that.
You're
talking about data with influencers. I got to think that there's a lot of influencers, especially on the micro influencer level, that really don't understand what you're talking about. Like, what kind of data should they be thinking about when someone says, hey, can you talk about my product?
It's really simple. It's really, really, really effing simple, but nobody's doing it. That's why we decided to start doing it. And it's how we've sold over $25 million worth of training courses personally. But it's purely relational data. So what you're looking for is, who are the top salespeople?
Yeah.
Or who are the top marketers? I consider marketers salespeople. Marketers are salespeople of the internet.
Yes.
Content creators are salespeople of the internet. And the first thing, this is the first thing to understand. You have to, you can't think of marketing as some like weird, like theoretical, like it's less human than having a salesperson show up at your house and sell you a Kirby vacuum.
Sure.
But you just have to think of marketers as salespeople. This is where the world is transitioning to. It's not door to door as much anymore unless you're selling solar.
Yes.
So given that, you have to think, okay, how do companies hire the best salespeople?
Yeah.
Well, it's fairly obvious. If I'm going to sell advertising, if I'm starting an advertising network, I'm going to hire the top sales reps for Google,
right,
for Facebook. I'm going to hire the top brand manager, country, whatever.
Yeah.
And if I'm selling cloud computing services, I'm hiring the top salespeople for Salesforce and
right,
Oracle or whatever.
Right.
But it's the same thing. You want to know, you start with, who are the top marketers for your competitors?
Right.
Or comparable companies.
Right.
If I am selling wallets, if I'm selling Ridge Wallet,
right?
If I'm selling some sort of wallet online, I want to know, who are the top marketers working with Ridge? Because Ridge is probably the top selling wallet company online.
Right.
So let's start there. Instead of looking and what, you know, that's very different from how agencies are looking up these people right now. Right now, people are looking for, you know, top influencer. They're looking at demographics. They're looking at engagement. They're looking at keywords. Sure. They're looking at subscriber counts. And none of these things are related to selling the darn product. All we care about is backing it. You know, I don't care what demographic salesperson is talking to. Sure. I care about, who has he worked for? How many sales did he get? And that's what we show.
Okay. This is an awesome place to start. I mean, you now have kind of set the stage for your business and who you serve. Now let's talk about your business. I want to know, like, sure, how, first of all, are you practicing what you preach? Like, tell us about your growth journey as a business, because I know that you are growing like crazy right now. Your organization is starting to take shape. And tell us about that part of your growth as your company has grown.
Sure. So I'd say the first thing so after I sold my ad agency in 2015, I had to get in a new business, the way contracts are and stuff. So I started teaching people, and we got a lot of early success. We hit 7 figures our first year in 2016. Me teaching people and doing ads and doing videos on YouTube. But what I experienced I said, this isn't really a sustainable business model for me. I really started this as a lifestyle,
because it's all you
as a lifestyle business. And I said, look, I'm already pretty successful. I want to spend weeks and months traveling or doing whatever I was doing at the time. Just got married, started having my first kids. And I said, we need to leverage other folks. To do content, to do ads, to do promotions, all this stuff. And what I looked for was I went to a site, you might know of it, called muncheye.com. And it showed me all of the other marketers, all of the other influencers and micro-influencers that were promoting, who were the top marketers for other training courses.
Interesting.
And I said, They have like leaderboards, in this one specific niche of training courses, like for whatever reason, everybody has leaderboards of the top affiliates. They call them affiliates in the marketing industry, not in, other industries like fashion calls them, I think, ambassadors, and some other industries call them influencer. There's all different sort of words.
Sure.
But so I said, who are the top affiliates? And I just went to them and I said, I made them a better offer than what the other folks were making them. The other people would say, "Oh, we'll give you 25% of sales." I said, "I'll give you 50." Other people would say, "Oh, we're getting 50." I say, "I'll give you 60."
Wow.
And I'll get you. They say, "I don't know you yet." I say, "I'll give you. How much do you usually make? I'll pay that up front."
Wow.
I didn't care, right? So I would just get these people started selling my training courses. Very niche. I'd never heard of any of their names before.
Wow.
And they sold off the hooks. They sold off the chain. And I realized that if you find the top marketers in a particular industry and you just hire them to sell a similar product, they're going to blow it up. It's not 100% batting average, but it's pretty darn close.
Well, they've already got the ear. They've already got the ear of all your buyers.
Yeah. So it just was unbelievably massively successful, and that grew the business from 7 figures to almost 8.
Wow.
Like very quickly. And it was just a one-man show at that time. And I said, wow, I'm doing this at scale, solo business. And some other businesses are like, I talk to all these other marketers and they say, we try to hire some influencers or affiliates and we shut down the program. We spent all this money. We didn't get an ROI and all this stuff. I said, that literally wasn't a problem for me from the get-go. What were and the way that they would tell me how they're doing it, and it was all wrong. So what I realized was, I said, I need to somehow be able, instead of just, I was already teaching people how to do some type of marketing. I said, this isn't even training. This is just, I just need to create software for this.
That's
because
awesome.
I've been, I started programming. I had an early love of computers. So I went out there and I created software for it. And that's what we're doing. We have a team. We have a team of people, data scientists, back-end, front-end developers, and that's just what we're building.
I love it.
So yeah,
I love it. Now that's exciting. I mean, that's really cool. Basically, what you did is you started discovering the problem you discovered a solution for your own business, and then you're like, dude, how come nobody else is like seeing this vision of what I just did with me? And now you've converted that into something that is scalable, right?
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
So you went from a solopreneur doing 7 figures, busting through 8 figures, and then you decided I need to get serious about my business. I need to figure out how I can take the burden off of my shoulders for everything I do. What did that look like, and where are you at now in comparison to where you were at a few years ago when you were at that point?
Sure. So where we're at now is I have a 25 person company between developers, sales, support, fulfillment, all this stuff.
Awesome.
And it's pretty amazing. I get, but the thought in my mind has never been, how do I do less work?
Yeah.
The thought in my mind is, how do I leverage myself more? How do I be more helpful? How do I, my guiding light is, I think just, it's how do I be more helpful? How do I be a useful human being?
Totally.
I believe that's by having lots of kids, lots of employees, and lots of animals. And to do those things, to have lots of employees, you have to build a well-functioning, profitable, helpful business that helps a lot of clients out, helps a lot of businesses out. So that's, we just sell data. That's all we're doing. We're just selling data.
Hey there, friends. This is Todd. Running a business, honestly, can leave a lot of founders and operators feeling lonely and isolated. If you have ever felt that way, trust me, I know what it feels like. And there is something you can do about it. You've heard a lot of our guests talk about the fact that being lonely and isolated is one of their biggest challenges in trying to run and scale their business. CaptainsCouncil.com. Go to CaptainsCouncil.com right now and see what we're doing to resolve this problem. We want you to be a strong operator who has solutions and has a way to get around the challenges you're currently facing. What most founders don't understand is that you're not alone. The challenges that you're facing, likely somebody else has already overcome, and they can give you the feedback you need to overcome them. Who better than your peers, other founders, other operators who are joining with you in a small group setting, a global community setting, as well as at our in-person events to guide you through these challenges that you're facing right now. Don't give up, keep on pushing, but do it with some good advice from your peers. Go check it out at CaptainsCouncil.com and let me know what you think about the offering. We can't wait to see you there. I love it. I love it. Well, as you've grown and you've seen success and you're continuing to grow, I'm assuming you're still seeing growth right now, right? I mean, we're
growing pretty fast right now. We're on track to 3x this year.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so the 3x, an already profitable business, is exciting. Mm-hmm. As you start moving into these this new neck of woods, what do you think is your biggest challenge you've had to overcome so far in your growth journey?
Sure. The biggest challenge is, frankly, we're trying to grow even faster.
Yeah.
Is since I'm such a kind of like engine room behind the scenes guy, and I've always bootstrapped my companies, I'm understanding that in order to really reach the heights that this business has the potential of growing to, we need to take on investment. And being able to communicate, the business we're in, it's very theoretical. It's very like we're selling data.
Yeah.
It's been very hard for me to communicate my business to people. I don't like going Adam Newman, I don't know. I think these guys work off of weird, internal internal boys club network.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
There's a lot. It's that from my understanding, it's basically 90% of people don't even look at the investment. They just care about the who else is in on the round. But I'm trying to find investors who actually care about what the business is, and that has been really difficult because it seems to be such getting into this venture capital space. There seem to be very few first movers, and especially in this environment we're in right now, it seems like there's a lot of people that are affected by the social dynamics of what other human beings are doing rather than making their own decisions.
Interesting.
I live in Malibu. I don't, hang out in these circles. So trying to find those early thought leaders who can add value to the vision of what we're building has been difficult, but it's a challenge just like any other.
I love it. No, that is a big challenge. It's a big challenge. You can take dumb money or you can take smart money. And when you take smart money, it always pays off better because they have a vested interest.
All the money says they're smart. All the money says they're smart. Nobody ever says they're dumb money.
But they are. No, I mean, to your point, it's like raising money can be a business in and of itself, and you're trying to identify like who the right money is, because it's not enough sometimes just to raise money. It is a huge game to play to find a strategic money play that that by them investing even a small piece, it's gonna 2 or 3x their investment, because they know people. They're connected to the right people that you need to be connected with, right?
Now, what I found, which is kind of fascinating, is so I met a billionaire the other week.
Okay.
And his company's listed on the NASDAQ, got about 1,000 employees, founder, CEO, right? And I wasn't searching to meet somebody like this.
Yeah.
Now, he is interested in like learning about what my company is doing, and sounds like it may even help, but I didn't go into seeking him out that way. I started following passions of mine that I'm truly interested in.
Right.
One of which is space. So I went to a interesting talk last week called The Future of Humanity in Space. This was at South by Southwest. And I found that by doing things that I'm truly passionate about and that are, I'd say, in line with what God would want and what would help human beings,
right?
Which is getting us, is getting us into space, really
totally,
getting us out there, with Manifest Destiny. Following, very, very true to myself, being very true to myself in a very value-added, non-selfish way, has enabled me to get some really interesting connections.
Love it.
And so I don't know if there's a takeaway from that, but that was kind of that sparked a lot of thoughts in me.
I think that it goes back to what you said earlier in the conversation. People like working with people that they like, and people like people that do things that they like to do, right? I mean, it's a very circular thing. And I think that as you have taken time to kind of get involved in the community that does things you like to do, you also find other like-minded people are like, dude, what are you doing with your business? Do you need some money? I mean, it will pay off. But you just got to be out there, right? You got to be involved in the things you're interested in. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're never going to find the people that can help you, right? It's all a network. It's just a big network game. So I love it.
And here's another maybe potential takeaway for the audience. Now, after this billionaire gave a talk about space and, this space company and all this stuff he started and some of his journey and his thoughts, he hung around afterwards, and there were about a dozen people. I'd say it was about a 60-person room, mostly family offices, investors, and probably about 20 startup founders. I'd say about a dozen of them, or half of them, lined up to try to ask him some question or pitch him their company or something, somehow some sort of weird, they all had this like roundabout way of like trying to be like, yo, can I get your information? And like,
totally,
like I want you to invest. And how I came into the conversation is the first thing I said was, thank you, for your talk. Here's why I'm thanking you. And like, what do you need help with?
Yeah.
What is going to help take you or your life or whatever you're doing business-wise to the next level? And please be specific and assume nothing about me.
Right.
And I tried to be purely like, look, this is not some like I'm genuinely asking what do you need help with? And I was the only person who he said, like, we need to be in contact.
Yeah.
He told me what he needed. I ended up following up and helping him out with exactly what he needed.
I love it.
Which was, well, I won't go into it because it's a new business he's working on, but something AI related to a very specific like B2B industry.
Very cool.
But I'd say by being helpful, and selfless rather than selfish, I was able to create a potentially really important connection. And I'm going to watch one of his rockets blast off next month. I'm going to
stop
stand
it!
One
of those guys, huh?
One of the he's a guy you guys have probably heard of. Yeah.
Okay. Well, freak, that's awesome. That's really cool. Great. No, it is a fascinating world out there, and I tell you what. If you're listening thinking, who do I have in my network? I think you'd be shocked. if you actually got involved in the things you're very interested in, like you're talking about, like space, or art, or whatever it is you like to do, you're gonna find that there's other people aligned with that thing that you like, that may be your perfect partner, your perfect investor, your perfect whatever, to get you into the world that you need to be in, right? So that is awesome advice. Now, John, you've got a lot of people in your network. I know you know a lot of people. Who in your network do you look at and say, "Gal, this guy totally inspires me to just get my business to the next level"? Is there someone like that in your circle that you want to give a quick shout out to today?
Yeah, 100%. I'd say Jeff Becker over at Antler. Jeff Becker,
awesome.
Just, they're one of our investors in my current company, and I'd gone, I remember asking him, how do I convey what I'm working on to the audience,
right.
to other folks, like help them understand, like, I'm working on a huge business,
right?
It's like $100 billion a year potential business. It's as big as Google or Facebook ads.
Awesome.
Working, the influencer space. It's just not programmatic. I said, how do I get this across to people? And he helped me out so much, because I realized in that sense that I've always been focused on, like, the marketer's mind, like getting down to the individual prospect. It's been trained in me to, like, think of, like, my prospect is a 46-year-old truck driver named Tom, and he's wearing some, he's wearing work boots,
Sure.
He has, old socks on, but those, not ankle socks, and he likes eating, like those taquitos from that one gas station. He goes to the TA, and
awesome
even when he's not driving his truck, he's, but, like, you have to know, like, them so specifically. Whereas when you're selling a business, when you're selling investment, when you're selling to the investor community, it's a totally different thing they're looking for. They're looking for these top level numbers, generalities, kind of like a, kind of more ephemeral. I don't know. It was, but he helped me get it. And it was a big shift in my brain.
That's
he
very
recently
cool.
came out with a new book. I don't know, just look up Jeff Becker.
Yeah.
If you guys want to find his book, which kind of, like, basically goes over the advice he gave me. But yeah, that was a big turning point for me in starting this new business, which
I love it.
I started and I'm full-time at since last year.
I love it. Love it. Dude, this has been a great interview. Honestly, for those listening who want to learn how to do more with your business, to learn how to take it from that I just launched to that next stage of growth, follow this man, dude. John is a great guy. Jeff is a great guy. But where do they find you, John? I mean, you're all over the place.
Well, I was gonna say, bro, like, I'm surprised you didn't even plug yourself. So for those listening, this guy's advice, this guy's marketing knowledge, I'd say is really, like, I've taught a lot of people to start businesses, but what I've realized as I've grown a business, like 8 figures and beyond, is that as you grow, like, the teams increasingly, I've always, even at my marketing agency, we were less than 20 people when I sold it. But what I've experienced recently as I've been growing businesses is that the teams become more separated over time. And those touch points, you end up having, like, whereas, instead of just having, like, one general Slack channel where everybody's talking, it's like you increasingly have fewer and fewer touch points, to the point where it's only, like, maybe, like, one 30-minute, like, cross-departmental team meeting every week or even every month. And it ends up, the business, the inertia of change and the ability to actually create profits actually goes down. I've always created my businesses around a cult of me, unfortunately. And as my time goes down, more employees means less time per employee. And I've seen that happen in my businesses.
Yeah.
And this guy just fixes it. This guy makes every department become a revenue generating and, like, somehow interface with that external communication of marketing.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank
I'd say
you for the
communication
pitch.
is the most important thing. Find me on YouTube, search my name, Google me, just Google my name, John Crestani on YouTube. You'll find out more about me. I talk about affiliate marketing, which is, and like e-commerce marketing. I talk about it from a very base level, probably like much lower than, I'm assuming everyone here in this audience has their own business and is running it. You know, I just teach people, you know, kids in Nigeria that are 13 years old looking to start their, you know, earn their first $100 online.
Right.
So, you know, that's where I come in on YouTube. That's been my shtick, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, feel free to subscribe and all that stuff. I'd love to talk to you.
I love it. Please follow him.
Yeah.
Please do. And for those of you who are in the stage of growth that we're talking about, I've watched a few of his episodes. I've watched a few of his things. I'm telling you, there's value there. So follow him, understand what he's up to, reach out to him. I'm sure he's got a community you can join and be a part of. And likewise, keep listening to these episodes. We have got founders on these episodes that are doing amazing things. And for most people, all they need to hear is that someone else did it. And all of a sudden the path becomes open to you that you can do it too.
We're doing it. But you can't be scared. Again, I'm sitting here assuming all of y'all have started businesses yet. But if you haven't done it, what are you doing?
Go.
You know, like get you know what? This is what I tell people, Todd. I say, get rid of your broke friends. Surround yourself with winners. Surround yourself with people like that. You know, whoever
100%.
Todd brings on, I'm sure is a winner in whatever aspect. But start something. Don't think about it. Produce. Don't consume. Produce websites. Don't look at websites. Produce children. Don't just, you know, consume, you know, like produce. The more you are creating, we are all meant to be creators. We are all aspects of the infinite. If you are creating content or businesses, or whatever income, or you are creating, you need to do that. Don't just sit back and consume, because then all you're doing is you're helping the machines become sentient.
You're building other people's machines, not yours.
That's it. 100%.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's some great advice. For those listening, definitely jump on the bandwagon. Get doing, get growing, get building, and you're going to find a lot of joy in what you already do. So
let's go. You can do this, guys. Come on, make it happen.
I love it. John, thanks for your time, buddy. We'll chat with you later.
Great. See y'all. Bye.
All right. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview. That's the longest interview to date on the show, but it was one of the best, honestly. Not better than everybody else. I'm not going to say that, but I say one of the best for me because I need it so badly. Honestly. A lot of these interviews that we do on the show are here for you, but I'm not going to lie. I learned so much from these interviews. I love guys like John. John is a powerful business owner, founder, creative. He's got a creative outlook on the way he looks at growth and scaling. And I just love it. I loved the interview. I loved our pre-interview conversation. And we talked for another 30 minutes after the interview, which was fun and fascinating. If you want to follow him, he's got a YouTube channel full of videos. He's got trainings full of videos. His content is all over the place, and I can see why so many people follow him and love and appreciate what he has to say, because I did, and I appreciate it. So if you want to learn more about what he's doing, what he's up to, his links are in the bio below. And also just take a listen for the way his model can impact your business. Re-listen to this thing. Share this interview with others that need it, because I can assure you, if you own and operate a business, or you're part of the management of a business, you have got to leverage and utilize other people's influence amongst your buyers. I cannot wait to catch up with him again in the future. I have a feeling we're going to be crossing paths several times in the near future, but I just want you to know that there are other people out there trying to grow and scale their business just along with you, alongside you, near you, maybe in your vertical, maybe in others. As you come across them and you know that they need some help, some useful tips, share this episode with them. Share this whole podcast with them, because the The purpose of this podcast is to help you grow and scale your business. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope you enjoy the others. Thanks for being along for the ride, and we will see you on the next episode.